The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's European Championship.
Welcome everyone, we're live here in Arizona. I'm your host, Infinite Fantasy, and welcome to Grand Tour Wrestling Underground. And we're going to be opening tonight's match with the European title on the line. Here we have our challenger, Aya Matsuda, straight from New Japan Pro, stepping into a GTW ring, but this will not be her first time. Back in our Japan tour, going into the Rising Sun, Aya Matsuda had become very familiar with the ropes of GTW. Tonight, she's here at Arizona to challenge Akemi Saki, fellow Japanese wrestler, for the GTW European Championship. And here comes the GTW Women's European Champion, the second woman to hold this title after defeating the timeless Toni Storm nearly a month ago on Dystopia. Tonight, I believe, will be Akemi Saki's very first title defense as she steps into the ring with Aya Matsuda. Both women, huge wrestlers in the Japanese circuit. Aya Matsuda from New Japan Pro, one of the biggest promotions in that country. Ironically, they'll neither be fighting in Japan or fighting for a Japanese title. They'll be here in the United States, here in Arizona, to defend and fight for the Women's European Championship here on Underground.
Introducing the challenger from Osaka, Japan, Aya Matsuda. And her opponent from Kobe, Japan, the Women's European Champion,
And here's the European Champion, the beautiful Akemi Saki, about to take on Aya Matsuda. Women's European Championship on the line, here, live in Arizona. And one opening match for GTW Underground. Here comes the bell as these two women square off. Akemi Saki going for a grapple. Matsuda ducking out of the way, now locking with the Women's European Champion. And now Matsuda bringing Akemi Saki into the corner, and the referee forcing him to break it off. Huge right hook by Matsuda. Here comes Akemi Saki with an elbow, coming a drop kick, taking out the legs of the challenger. Got Akemi Saki driving that knee into the ribs of the challenger. Moonsault onto Aya Matsuda. Huge right cross, and the European champion in complete control in her first title defense. Here comes Aya Matsuda, the challenger, with a headlock onto Akemi Saki. As she switches over, arm lock onto the champion. Akemi Saki struggling to get out of the hold here. I believe these two women have a bit of history wrestling back in the Japanese circuit. Going back and forth, they have an even amount of wins and losses under their belt when it comes to their one-on-one matches against each other. Tonight, here in Grand Tour Wrestling Underground, this will be the tiebreaker. This will be determined which one of these two is the better female wrestler as they compete for the European Championship. And now Akemi Saki with the arm lock onto Aya Matsuda. Matsuda struggling to get out of the hold. Akemi Saki, the women's European champion, in complete control right now. And a huge elbow to the face by Aya Matsuda. Akemi Saki rolling out of the way, dodging the next attack, showing her skills as a veteran. And now Matsuda bringing Akemi Saki against the ropes, the referee forcing them to break it off. Matsuda coming off the ropes, and looks like she just slipped on the mat there. Akemi Saki now taking advantage of Matsuda's mistake, rolling into her pin. One, and a kick out by Aya Matsuda. Matsuda, oh, that was a hard slam. I don't know if, and Akemi Saki still able to kick out. Amazingly, she's showing her grit as the European champion, the same sterner stuff that allowed her to defeat Toni Storm for that title. Elbow drop by Aya Matsuda. And just look at her, playing chess against the champion, trying to work on that shoulder, making it very difficult for Akemi Saki to fight back. And Aya Matsuda throwing it in her face as she goes in for a right. Open hand chop by Aya Matsuda. Multiple chops. Kick to the sternum, and here she comes. The challenger setting Akemi Saki up. Fireman's carry position. Snake eyes into the top rope. Matsuda thinking what her next strategy is going to be. She wants to make sure the next move will be the one that puts the nail in the coffin as she makes her way for the second turnbuckle. Forearm smash by Aya Matsuda. Both women now fighting ringside. Amazing lariat takedown by the challenger. Akemi Saki, the European champion, in a world of trouble right now as Matsuda is taking it to her in this European Championship match. Here comes Matsuda going for the pin. 1, 2, and Akemi Saki kicking out. They grapple up. Here comes Akemi Saki going fireman's carry. Akemi Saki fighting back against Matsuda. He goes for the Irish whip. Challenger off the ropes. Akemi Saki going under. Amazing spinning heel kick by the European champion. Akemi Saki now measuring her opponent as she's about to launch herself on that top rope with a drop kick. Matsuda in a world of trouble right now. The chances of becoming European champion is becoming even more grim. And here comes Akemi Saki running in. Flying elbow into the face of the challenger, followed by a facebuster. Will this be enough to put this match away? Akemi Saki looking to put more ice on the wound as she goes for a frog splash off the top rope for the title. 1, 2, and Aya Matsuda able to kick out. Akemi Saki failing to launch herself as Matsuda going out of the way. Nobody home. The high-risk maneuver not paying off. Now Matsuda smashing Akemi Saki's head into the top turnbuckle. Scoop body slam by the challenger. Matsuda making her way to the top rope. High-risk move. Akemi Saki struggling to get to her feet. An amazing high-flying move by the challenger. Aya Matsuda going for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and we have a new European champion here on Underground.
Here is your winner, and the new Women's European Champion, Aya Matsuda.
Congratulations to Aya Matsuda, our new Women's European Champion, defeating Akemi Saki in her first title defense. is her first time wrestling in GTW in the United States, and what a huge United States debut it is, as she now walks away as the GTW Women's European Champion. When we return, we're going to be hearing from Julius Creed, and still to come, our main event, Huron Santiago versus Ethan Evans here on Underground. Victoria Wong here with Julius Creed. Julius, the world is asking, why have you and your brother Brutus been attacking Braun Strowman? Me and my brother have been working hard for GTW. We have never gotten a tag team title shot. Hell, we were never even considered for #1 contenders for anything. We were a big deal wrestling in other promotions, especially the big one. But here, we're second-class citizens. Strowman walks in here like he owns the place, already being celebrated before he even made his debut. Well, that's going to change, because at WrestleNova, we're going to challenge him. Strowman, you can pick whatever 2 partners you like, because the Creed brothers, we're coming in with our asset, Chad Gable, and we challenge you to a trios match. The Creed brothers are going to end your career before it even begins. With respect, Julius, didn't Braun Strowman beat both you and Brutus in a handicap last week on Underground? Semantics.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from San Francisco, California, weighing in at 233 pounds, Huron!
And now it's time for our next singles bout as Huron Santiago goes one-on-one with Ethan Evans here in Glendale, Arizona, live for GTW Underground. And what a night we've already had so far. Aya Matsuda has just been crowned the new Women's European Champion, and Julius Creed has challenged Braun Strowman at WrestleNova in a trios match. It will be Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, and Chad Gable forming America Made, as they'll be taking on Braun Strowman and 2 partners of his choosing.
And his opponent from Grenoble, France, weighing in at 230 pounds, Ethan Evans!
And here comes Ethan Evans, a GTW Hall of Famer making his way to the ring. This man has been in the business for a long time. At one time was in the main event scene until an injury has forced him to be out for an entire year. He's now slowly climbing up the ranks as he's taking on Huron Santiago here tonight on Underground. I believe this guy has been in GTW so long that he one time even had the pleasure of wrestling the King Demon Sebastian at one point. Ethan Evans might be up for retirement very soon, but not this night. Tonight, he'll be taking on Huron Santiago as the 2 men now grapple up in the squared circle. Ethan Evans bringing Santiago into the corner. The referee forcing the 2 men to break it up. And just look at that height of Ethan Evans, as he just gets suplexed by Huron Santiago. And Huron with a huge kick to the side, into the kidney. And you know when Huron Santiago, with his size and power, his prowess, when he's in the ring, he means it. Ethan Evans claimed on an interview last week that he is not done with GTW yet, that he might be past his prime, but he's still got plenty in the tank and a lot to prove, and he's not willing to retire just yet. But seeing how Huron Santiago is so far dominating him in the beginning of this match, it might be time for Evans to lace up the boots. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what he has left as Huron Santiago now grapples up with Ethan Evans. A few years ago, Ethan Evans was untouchable. He was able to take on the likes of Theo Sebastian and Steven Dynamite. A former United States champion, former World Heavyweight champion. However, he seems more sluggish than he did in years prior, and Ethan Evans looking to prove that wrong as he comes in for a lariat strike and a reverse leg drop on Huron Santiago. Huge kick by Ethan Evans. And this might be the opening. Ethan Evans, if he can capitalize, might be able to keep the tide turned. And no, Huron Santiago finding a vulnerable point, but for an elbow to the ribs to his opponent. An amazing cartwheel into an elbow strike by Huron Santiago. A kick out by Ethan Evans. As Huron just dealing more damage to his opponent, stomping the chest, stomping him right in the heart over and over. On his social media, Huron said it was time for Ethan Evans to retire. He believes he's too old to be in this game anymore. He probably should have retired when he acquired that injury, and is looking to do just that here tonight. And just look at Huron with that brute force, lifting that dead weight of Ethan Evans, completely dominating him in this match. He's going fireman's carry. Ethan Evans going for those elbow strikes. And hit to the back. He goes against the ropes. Spine buster by Ethan Evans, going for a desperate pin. An immediate kick out by Huron Santiago. Breaker by Ethan Evans, showing off some of those old moves, trying to prove something to the crowd here in Glendale, Arizona. And the crowd now on their feet. Here goes Ethan Evans, and no! An immediate reversal by Huron Santiago. Here comes Huron across the ring. Elbow strike right into the collarbone, now smearing the heel of his boot across the face of Ethan Evans. Now he's setting him up. Huron looking to put this one away. And here comes Huron. 1, 2, 3, and an easy victory for Huron Santiago on what could be a washed up main eventer. Huge victory for Huron Santiago. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching on Twitch, don't forget to leave a follow. All support helps. And for those of you watching my content on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know when new GTW episodes come near you.